YouTube, welcome. This is another day working on the CR build. Today what we're going to do is we're going to clean up, sandblast, and ceramic coat all of our parts. Now there's a couple last minute things that I got to do. Basically, I got my tub, I got Dawn dish soap, I got some Brillo pads, Ajax or Dawn dish soap to help cut down on some of the grease and the oil. That way I can inspect the pieces, see if there's anything wrong or not together 100% correct that I can address. And then I'm gonna sandblast. Probably not the best thing to do in terms of keeping things clean or whatnot, but I got a sandblaster, I wanna try it, and so that's what we're gonna do. You could hydroblast these and send them out to people, but I mainly got the sandblaster so I can sandblast the frame of the bike, because I'm gonna do a 90s throwback with like white and red and all that stuff. So I'm gonna do a white steel frame instead of the silver that's already on there. So I had to blast that off, but I tested a little section of sandblast on the side of the case and it came out pretty cool. It came out pretty decently. I could just sandblast it without having to clean it and just cut through all the grease and the grit and stuff, but I want to do everything, you know, the best I can right the first time. Just make it all cleaned up, cut down on the grease, just get a lot of that stuff out of the metal itself, because the metal is porous. Yeah, so I just want to clean it up. So there's a couple pieces already that I have done, cleaned up. The side of the case, the rebuild kit's gonna have all new bearings, so I took off the two inner pieces here and the little plastic expansion chamber area. I ordered extra dowel pins just in case they come out. This is together pretty decently. I'm gonna clean that up, put that in my bin. I'll do maybe a little sanding job on this piece, but I get, you know what, I guess I can clean it. Yeah, we'll give that a good cleaning. Right side, I've got the water pump I gotta pull off. The clutch piece here with the spring, the oil fill. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna get some gloves on and just start cleaning into that stuff. Best thing to do before you start working on something, just take a couple pictures so you have a reference point on how things came to be, especially the spring here for the clutch. The gasket can come up. Throw that out. You can take a razor blade to it as well, but just getting the big stuff off first. Back side of the water pump. Front side of the water pump is gonna have 3 8mm bolts. This bottom one is gonna have the crush washer for the drain. Don't lose that. Give it a lucky strikes. Whoop. Water pump. This will be our washing zone, and then we'll have a rinse zone. Turn over my mobile table, roll underneath the shade on this glorious day off. What a great day to be spending time on vacation. Weather's fantastic. Got ourselves a hose, wash pit. Whoa. Smells good. This is gonna be the soaking station. This will be the wash station. Throw a good amount in there. This is great. Between the toilet bowl brushes and the parts here, I'm excited to see how black this water can get. All right, so I changed my shirt because I realized I was getting grease on my Rocky Mountain shirt. So I put on this old oversized raggy shirt because I don't give two poops about it since I lost all that weight loss. All right, so I got a lot of the big stuff off with the grease, with the Ajax, with the dish soap, but yeah, there's some extra oily parts here that I couldn't get. So I'm upgraded to a little brake cleaner. That should cut through the grime and grease since I don't have a parts washer readily available at the moment. Chain lubes flung all over the base. Some of these parts are the grime won't come out. Even the freaking brake cleaner won't cut through it. Okay, so a lot of the brake cleaner actually wasn't getting much stuff off. I did a little bit of a brush action on some pieces to try to get some of the grime off, but clean them up the best I could. I'm gonna just very carefully with the abrasion sandblaster just hits a couple parts. The negative to this is that there's little iron oxides everywhere, so I'll take the air gun and blast out all of the water and the little abrasion pieces that might be absolutely everywhere. Obviously I don't want those floating around into the motor. I'm just doing a very quick light job only because I want to have the substrate, which is the panels themselves, pretty clean, or as clean as possible, before I put on the Cerakote. Much like powder coating, you know, pop them in the oven, let them bake a little bit at 400 degrees. That will dry up any bit of water that might be in there and pull some of the oils out to the surface. And then hit it with some acetone cleaner because it dries very nice with a tack cloth. We should be good. Also got to take a razor blade to the side panels to clean them up a bit. But I'm gonna go get my suit on. Welcome to the Gryffindor common room. I went ahead and got my tent set up with the arms all the way at lowest height. I got my face shield, gloves, aluminum oxide. It is a bit windy, but I want to keep the dust down from spraying over people's cars and stuff. Also, I'm in the grass side yard, so I don't have to pick any of the stupid metal stuff up. Are you getting this? I got black aluminum oxide all over me. I just finished blasting. I used about 15 pounds or so of material. And next up is just to shoot away all the dust. Ah, that is loud. All right, so what I ended up doing was taking the power washer out and just blasting it with some water. With the new rebuild kit, you're getting all new seals anyways and new bearings and whatnot, so I don't care if water damage happens because they're all cut and removed. However, this cleaned out real nice. Well, after a much needed lunch and a shower to get all that black sand from the sandblaster out of my hair, I baked the pieces in the oven, low temp, just to burn up the humidity, and this is how they look. Pretty damn well, I think. Obviously I didn't blast underneath, but on the top, great surface area, cut it right up nice. The Cerakote is gonna coat to that very nicely. It has some great surface to connect to. Before we can get to coating, we have to get the old bearings out and the old grommets out. Doing so, you're gonna need heat, probably a torch. You have to get a plier to pull out the rubber booties. All right, we're gonna start pulling out the seals. The seals are just rubber, don't use heat on those. I got a bit of pick, but it's very rounded on the edge, so it's not that abrasive. I don't want to dig into the metal, but that's one. I'm gonna clean it out later on after I sand, but you can see some of the black schmutz from the black sandblasters in there. Actually, what you should do is just take a picture on your phone of what each seal looks like, because they are directional. The water pump one is inverted. Isn't this remarkable how we can just take rare metals, dirt from the ground, get the iron metal out of it, then make an alloy with multiple metals put together, and then fabricate this in such a way where it can handle pressure and extreme temperature, and then you make fuel from dinosaurs to go put that in your gas and you mix it with oil. You just keep ripping around the freaking dirt in the woods. I think that's the coolest thing. People are awesome, man. Anyway, so I took a picture. I got everything kind of laid out so I know which direction each thing goes. And we'll get back to prying out. So that's a one. The kit comes with all of the pieces that you may need. Whoa. Whoa. Woo. Wow, that's it. I think that's all of them. Yeah, now it's the fun part. Fire! All the black grommies are out. There you go, all the seals. Next up is the torch. The best thing to do is you want to heat up the aluminum pretty warm, not too hot, just to get it to warp or function, but you know, 200 degrees, 300 degrees, that should just, I have a temperature gun powder coating kit. You can get this on Amazon as well. Again, I'll put links in the description. So you torch around the area, shoot it with the temperature gun, see what it is. If it's close to 200-300, go ahead, find a socket that size, bam, give it a bang. I use a dead blow hammer, it's a plastic mallet, so it's not so hard on the equipment, not too much of a big shock. So I got a tray, 2 bricks. Obviously, I'm not gonna use wood with fire. Well, you probably could, but you gotta be quick. So these are the bearings that come in the kit. They're like by the company Hot Rods. These are all part of the bearing kit in the Wrench Rabbit or the Vertex rebuild kit. And they're labeled water pump kit, transmission bearing kit, and these are the main gear ones. So I opened each one of these. Okay, this is for the water pump. You can tell from the water pump gasket. The bigger one is gonna go there, and then the smaller daddy through the opposite side, which is this one here, and this is the one where I have to use the bearing toolkit. So actually, let's bang that and get that out of the way. All right, so I'm gonna grab my Sharpie, I'm gonna make a dot, and put a dot next to all the bearings that I have that need to get replaced. You've got this bearing, which is here. I'm gonna make a dot. This is the one for the water pump. So I'll make a dot. All right, transmission bearing, this big boy is gonna go here. This small bearing here. That's this one. This one has a medium, I'll call that medium size. That's gonna be here. This bearing is gonna be here. And this bearing actually goes in here, and I had this fall out on me. This bearing here with the solid backing, this one's gonna stay in the bike. This is not a replacement one. I don't have that in the kit, so I'm not gonna touch it. But all the rest should come out. But you're also gonna need, for one of the bearings, a blind bearing toolkit. This one here is from Amazon's. It's not that expensive. However, you get what you pay for. The part in question that I need is I gotta pull the bearing out for the secondary water pump bearing here. And that's looks to be an 8mm or close to. In the set, the puller set, this is an 8mm, or they claim it to be. It's just cheaply cast steel. So I had to take a file to the outside, like so, to smooth it out. It's just too wide to fit in there. It wants to go, essentially these parts collapse, fits into the bearing. This pin essentially gets threaded into here. And when that happens, it widens up these teeth in the bearing for you to then use the puller to help pull it right out of its socket. With a little bit of heat, it shouldn't come no problem. However, you have to fit this through that hole, and it don't exactly want to go in there. So I rounded the edge so it can fit, but the spaces in between are a little too thin on one side. So when I smush it together, it doesn't make enough space. So that's what I have to do. So let's use the bearing puller tool and get off that troublesome bearing first, and then we'll let the torch and the heat do the rest. This is the piece I had to modify. I kind of got to jam it into this space. It's blind. You can't, there's nothing to grab it or knock it back from the other side. So we'll start with this one first. Hopefully I ground down enough material. I should be able to get this through. A couple whacks. Good. It's in. I'm gonna grab our separator tool. You kidding me? Kind of junk. Screw this part in. Oh my God, always problems. My armies don't reach. For the love of God. Okay. All right, so what you want to do is once you put that collar through, this, then the pin, I'm going to set my little arms up here. Once you're good, you don't want it to move. You want to tighten the whole tool down. You don't want it to get wobbly. So once the inner thread is all the way down into the tool itself, I can now tighten this part, and it should expand and pull the bearing out. Go. Bearing is pulled. Ain't that neat? Loosen your tool up. Pull it out. And there you go. Your bearing is out. All right, whew! The hardest of them all was you needing this tool to get that out. That's done. So now that I have a record of all the bearings that I need, I'm gonna take the kits and I'm gonna stick them in the freezer because I want the bearings to get as cold and contract as possible. So when I'm done painting these, after letting them dry and cure, if I heat this in with the cold bearings, the bearings should just fall right in for assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now before I forget. It is showtime! Time for fire. So, my method of choice is MAP gas, with the cleanest, hottest burning gases you can from a torch. It's readily available anywhere. I got my heat gun to scan. Now, right now it's 81 degrees. It's getting pretty warm in here. However, these are aluminum, and aluminum dissipates heat rather quickly, so you don't really need heat as it goes. Two-step. All right, anyway, here we go. Circular motion, heat the outside, not the bearing itself. So I heated that enough, the bearing just started sliding out. Ow, mother, that's hot. Sliding out on itself while I dropped it. That's one way to pull it out, mother. I figured the end wouldn't be so. I got too excited. Here you go. Bam. Smoking. Somebody stop me. Bam. Heated that up. Kind of fell right out. I love that. I'm going to move the pieces over and get my cooling rack out again. This is from my oven. I use it to powder coat, but it will work just the same. Okay, whew, that was good. Let's do this side now by the water pump, because only one on this one. There's some dirt and debris in there. Some, ooh, we popping. Ooh, we on fire. Nope, There's a seal in there. God damn it. I thought it was dirt. Woo. Put that on the floor. Get down. I was like, there's some organics on here. It's burning. Wait, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Never mind. That's a seal. Bam, that's 300 degrees. Get my socket. Bam. Here's my Black Panthers. Wakanda forever. Good, bearing is out. Next, the big Johnnies. Come on, you bastard! Oh, more bearings are coming out. Good. That's it. All the bearings are out. This last little boy got me some trouble, but I used a 10 millimeter socket to bang that through. But that's it. Let these pieces cool, then we'll clean them, and then we'll move on to paint. All right, so now that the bearings are out, once again, I'm gonna go ahead and clean with some dish soap. I got spare rags, I got Scotch-Brite to really work in the metal, clean up any oils that came to the surface that we already baked out. And we'll just repeat the process. I think we'll just do it one more time. I don't wanna go overkill, but I do wanna make it look nice. So, yep, so we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna clean it up, especially get behind the areas where the bearings were, because there is sand, dirt, grit, and some sandblast back there. I wanna make sure that that's completely clean, bake them, dry them, and then finally get ready for paint. All right, so the pieces have now been cooled. They have been pulled out of the oven, and this just gives great opportunity for you to take a look and examine your pieces. There's a little bit of dust left in there, so I'll have to clean that out. I'll use a pick or my file. An old coworker of mine, Repco, a legend, he always said, the longer you spend time on any project, the better it will be. Just want to make sure everything is as good as it can be. So what I'm going to do next is use some acetone and help clean up the zone here the best that we can with some paper towels. Fast drying, definitely smells really good. I'll pull any residual oils that were left on the top side from the baking process. It's best to use shop towels because the paper towels are leaving little frillies all over the thing, but I have some tack towels that I can go back in and get all the loose stuff back off. This is so exciting. This has been days and days working on this stuff. Took a week off on vacation, so every day has been another episode, which is fantastic. Although, even though I've been working on the bike and haven't really been relaxing, all be worth it when it's finally finished. I can tell you that. Now that it's wiped up, let me use the tack towel, anti-static cloth. They're cheap, they're in the painting section. Now what you're gonna do is once you wipe this down, it's gonna pull off all of the loose fibrous materials left behind by the paper towel. It's got some tack to it. It's in the name, tack cloth. All right, now that we're all detacked, we're going to do some tape up. Now, every time you do a new process, change your gloves. Wow, I saw this technique online and I wanted to try it. This thing's working out great. 2 hours later. Well, I finally finished the pieces. They're all wiped, acetone down, anti-static tacked up. I'm gonna start with burnt bronze first. So I got all the pieces with hooks to keep me in order. This is my spray booth. It is a 10 by 10 pop-up tent with some blue tarps just to keep the wind down. It is windy out. I have dialed in the paint gun per instructions of Cerakote, and I'm nervous. This is big. So when I'm done spraying the pieces, I'm gonna then have a series of zip ties. I'm just gonna hook the plastic on the wood. Shouldn't slip all the way down, but I'll do the bronze pieces first. Then I'll have to figure out how to clean the gun. I'm getting excited. I'm stalling because I'm nervous. This is 4 days straight of just cleaning and preparing and figuring out how to take things apart and organizing, and it's all come down to this moment. Once this is all done and cured and dried and finished, then I can start the process of putting everything back together and then throwing the motor on a bench, because I have no way of testing it with the bike in pieces. So, and I'm not going to put the bike all the way together just to go ahead to see if the motor runs. I'm fairly confident in my building skills, my mechanical skills of making things work. So yeah, here it is. Let's just get the gun ready and hopefully we don't mess up. Of course, of all days, the freaking wind's gonna be blowing around. All right, so I gave it a good shake. Burnt bronze, I have to pour it through the strainer into the gun, and then I'll cap it and then start to spray. Ooh, shit, here we go. Okay, you ready? You watching? Oh, I'm running. Shit, down at the bottom. Oh, it's running on the top. Mother. There's nothing I can do. God, the flaps are coming up. Shit. Oh. Oh. Stop. Wind. Now I gotta figure out how to clean this thing and move on to the black pieces. YouTube, what is going on? It is the next day. I, in fact, brought in the pieces. Here they are in their glory. They're in the basement. It takes 5 days to cure. It's only been a day, but to hell with it. I'm too impatient and I'm gonna move forward. A couple things. A lot of pieces came out fantastic. I love that. This was my first time set up doing Cerakote, and it's also the first time of this setup in general between a piece of wood and my little makeshift paint booth. It was a little dark in the areas, I'm not gonna lie, when I was spraying. So unfortunately, there are some areas where paint did not make it because it was dark, it was hard to see. For the most part, I'm pretty pleased. Here's a side cover, like, you know, it got a little thin in some areas in the light, but it is a dirt bike. It's not a show bike. A little thin on this side, but then again, I'm hard to critique myself, and I'm always hard on myself. So overall, it looks great, a little thin, but with all this put together, it's gonna be fantastic. So that's today's episode. Next episode, gonna go ahead and start assembling, putting all this shit together. So y'all have a good one. I hope this helped. Y'all be real good. Keep ripping. Peace!